Hello once again. So what's important to remember is that the application stage is perhaps the most competitive part of the selection stage, and it depends on the sectors, but up to 80% of applications submitted at this stage don't make it to the next stage. So that is why the information we'll be talking about in today's class that's coming up would be things that will help you stand out, and so that you can fall into the remaining 20% that will make it to the next stage of application. So what are the three ways to stand out? The first thing to remember is that you need to understand what the employer wants, which will lead us to the question, what exactly does the employer want? We'll discuss that as we go along. Number two, you need to understand the skills that you can offer. And thirdly, you have to learn how to communicate this very, very effectively. Always remember, recruiters will often have a lot of applications to get through very quickly, and they can make a decision to reject your CV in less than a minute, just about 30 seconds or thereabout. So obviously, if a CV is good, if a CV impresses them, they are going to spend more time looking at it, more time considering the information that you have put in. But if your CV doesn't stand out really quickly, it takes less than a minute for them to reject you. So one of the things we'll be talking about, like I said, is to learn how to grab their attention so they can really see those things that you have put in your CV. So like I said, these are the three ways for a CV to stand out. You need to know what is really important to the employer, because you don't need to tell them everything about yourself. You only need to tell them what they want to hear. What does the employer want to hear? So you need to understand the adverts, the vacancy, and understand how you can model yourself into that person that the employer is interested in getting to know, in employing. You also, when we talk about skills and education, what do you have to offer? You need to understand what you are bringing to the table, the abilities you have, the knowledge, the qualities that you've gathered over the years, whether through your education, through your work experience, internship, volunteering opportunities, and all those. So you need to know what are those things. You need to know yourself, just like Aristotle and Socrates said. And then when you know yourself, then you know how to communicate yourself succinctly, clearly, and powerfully. So what does the employer want? That's the next question we need to tackle. Um, so the employer basically wants you, of course, to demonstrate that you are actually the right person for the job. Many of us are probably wondering why I haven't started talking about actually writing a CV. How do we put the CV together? Should we have our date of birth on the CV? How many educational qualifications must we put in the CV? We are going to get to all those, but it's very, very, very important to lay down the foundation for how you need to approach this CV writing exercise. Like I told you, many people start writing their CVs before they eventually sit down to put it together. By gathering experiences, by understanding the mindset you should have, you are already writing your CV. So basically, like I said, your employer is interested in knowing why are you, what's your motivation? Basically, what is your why? Why do you want this job? Are you interested in what they're doing? Are you enthusiastic about the work that the company does? What is your motivation? The employer is also interested in knowing that you actually understand their company's focus, their vision, where their company is going, what they do, what value they bring to the table. The employer also wants to know whether you are the right fit for the job. Do you understand how this role fits in, the role you are going to be doing in the company? How does it fit in with the overall company goals, objectives, and vision? And they also want to understand whether you have the right skills, experience, and acumen to actually do this job for them. So of course, if you're applying for further studies, many times they ask for your CV. In this case, the university wants to know what your goals are and how the study you're applying for actually fits into your lifelong goals. So all those things really matter. In which case, if you are submitting this, you might be also asked to submit your a personal statement or cover letter, which we might talk about later on. But basically, at this stage, these are some of the things that the employer wants to know about you, and which we will be discussing as we proceed. So in addition to all this, the employer is also interested in knowing that you actually have specific skills and subject knowledge. If you are if an employer is a human hospital, you don't expect them to employ agriculturists. They are not looking for agriculturists in a human hospital. A veterinary doctor should not be applying to an engineering firm. I'm sure that's basic and we all know that. So the employer is concerned about knowing whether you have the role specific subject knowledge to, and in addition to that, we also have what we call soft skills. The employer is interested in knowing that you have soft skills like attention to detail, communication, interpersonal skills. How do you relate to other, time management, your organizational skills, leadership, teamwork. And I don't intend to narrate everything, but basically it's on the slide and we can see it. These are some of the things that every employer is interested. So if you have started a job search, you probably are familiar with most of these skills. And a point to note is that employer wants skills and knowledge that may not be limited to the job role alone. So, like if you are applying to be a vet in in a veterinary clinic, for instance, the proprietor of that veterinary clinic is also interested in knowing how you can relate with customers, how you can manage data, how you can help them manage teamwork among the staff of the hospital and all those things. So these are essential skills that sometimes are not taught in the classroom, but which you need to develop. And the way you develop this type of skills is through what you do and how and the activities you're already taking part in on campus through campus associations, organizations, volunteering. And I cannot overemphasize this. It is really, really very, very important for you to look into. How else can you find out some of the skills that the employer wants? Of course, the first thing you need to start from is the vacancy. The vacancy contains the terms of reference, contains what they want in their staff and what the job role specifies. You can also check through online job websites like Jobberman, like Target Jobs. You can go to Prospect, Glassdoor. You can see examples of different vacancies and roles and what the employers are looking for. This will help you to know the kind of skills you need to start building from now. One very important thing is don't never underrate LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very, very important tool for networking, for getting to understand the employment and the job landscape, and for landing yourself a job. So you should begin to research some of these organizations. You research them, but you can also talk to the people. Very, very important. In addition to these websites, you need to start researching the organizations that you are interested in working with, especially when you have seen a vacancy and you are thinking of applying to an organization. The first point of call is to go to research the organization's website. What sorts of people work there? How do your skills fit in? How can you be useful? You can check their website, check their About Us page. They always have them, and it's a little bit about themselves on the website. You go, you see our services, our team, you look at the current vacancies and person specifications. In addition, use sites like prospect.ac.uk, like I said, to understand what different job roles exist and generic skills that you need to have. Talk to people who work there. I can't overemphasize that. And like I said, don't overlook LinkedIn or Glassdoor.